Okay, I'm not technical, I'm the end user of data. So what I wanted to take you through is my agenda, a little bit about a brief introduction to the organisation in the 2 slides. What's big data to CEVA logistics? What does it mean to us? And then I think more importantly, how we go about using it. And then 1 slide to close and questions at the end. So, that's us. Have you heard of us? We're one of the major 3PLs, logistic companies in the world. Deal with most organisations. This is quite relevant for later on. We work in contract logistics, which is trucks and sheds. We do air freight, ocean freight, and trains, barges, all those bits and pieces. And the interesting bit, again, going back to collaboration, is we're split quite nicely on different sectors, different verticals. So the balance is the business is pretty well balanced. And that's what we do. Okay, so we manage supply chains. Some clients will manage the entire supply chain from end to end, even first-tier suppliers. For others, we'll just do elements within part of the supply chain. That's enough about us. Right, 2 confessions. Okay, I think Rob had one in Southampton. That's my confession. Yeah, Derby County. Yeah, and then it gets worse. Okay, it gets worse. Despite the accent, I'm Welsh. Yeah. So this is the 1 week you want to be Welsh living in England. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm the only person in our head office to win the sweepstake. Wales beating England last Saturday. Yeah. And I'm glad it's today, not Thursday night. I think Fiji may beat us, but never mind. That's tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm half Australian. Okay, a little bit about me. So I'm an operations guy. I've worked in the industry over 30 years, which is quite impressive. I've loved it. One of my ex-colleagues in this room is DHL. Had a degree from Loughborough University in transport management, which is now called logistics, and an MBA in supply chain management at Cardiff. And I've worked various places around the world. At the moment, I head up our supply chain development team, which is a posh word for I'm head of sales. I sell. In my team, I have solution design. They're the very intelligent people that take the data and actually give me something to go and sell to customers. And we have a marketing and strategy team as well that sits within business development. Okay, so making sense of big data. Yeah. The key for us and the starting point is how you design a supply chain. Okay, so without that data, that supply chain is not going to be effective, it's not going to be efficient, and it probably isn't going to meet the needs of your customers at a cost-efficient way. So the first thing, we design supply chains. Secondly, once you design it, you use data to continuously improve it, the innovation to drive cost out, improve service. And the final one, for us internally and for our customers, is how we use data to manage our resources efficiently. Yeah? Cost efficient, utilisation efficient, productivity efficient, etc. So I'm going to whiz through a few slides demonstrating these, okay? So, picture yourself, this is an actual project that we did about 2 years ago. It's for a major car manufacturer in the UK. They were going to open up a new car plant in China. First time they put a manufacturing plant outside the UK. Yeah, and this went to 3 or 4 major 3PLs to say, right, this is our objective. We're going to build a new car plant, 1,000 cars a week, something like that. I can't remember the exact numbers. Yeah, help us. How are you going to do it? So let's picture that. Okay. So first time we've done this. In the UK, you've got 1,000 suppliers. Yeah. In mainland Europe, Eastern Europe, Turkey, 500. Yeah. And you've got to get all that material, yeah, at the right time, the right format, the right condition, the other side of the world. Okay. So this just walks you through the project, and just think of the data requirements you're going to need to do this, if it works. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the first thing is to say, right, so here we are, we're going for UK, Europe, Eastern Europe, across to China. There's only supply base, 1,000 UK, 500. How are you going to manage that? What information are you going to need to take all those parts halfway around the world to get there in the right condition, the right time? With all the information flows, communicating to the supplier. I'm coming in tomorrow, I'm going to pick up these parts, no more, no less, these parts. I'm going to take them to a consolidation centre. Okay, so how are you going to pick them up? What condition they're going to be in? What's the size of the items? How many in a box? Can I stack the containers? What's the queue fill in the vehicle? Do I go in on a dedicated basis? Do I do milk rounds? They do as parcel carriers. How do I get that product in? Consolidation centre. I'm not going to get ready to go onto a container ship, perhaps a container ship. What conditions are coming out? Can I go straight to the container? I've got to repack it. Yeah, I decant it. How heavy is it? They put heavy on the bottom, heavy on the top. What do I do with that part? I want to mix the parts. So we consolidate it. It now goes into the Felixstowe, into that container ship there. Yeah. So whereabouts that container ship is going to be in terms of top deck, bottom deck. Some suppliers may have enough volume to go direct. So why go through the consolidation centre? Which port does it go out of? UK, Felixstowe. Does it go out of Hamburg, Valencia, direct from Turkey, go around the world through Indonesia? It takes 3 days off the lead time. Into China. We've also got the Americas coming in now, 100 suppliers in America. What are you going to do with them? Arrives in Shanghai, offloading it, right at the customs side of it. What does duty get paid? To any bonded warehouses? How do I get that through? It goes now into the yard, and we talk about Felixstowe. So storage, that's free storage for us. So how many days, how many weeks can I get free storage? Because that means I can get a smaller deconsolidation centre. And we're there for a day, 2 days, a month. Off we go into the deconsolidation centre. So it's now arrived. I've got to unpack it all. What format can I go straight to production plant, or does it need decanting? Does it need storing? How many weeks stock do I need to hold? How reliable is that supply chain? So we're going through a deconsolidation centre now. Getting ready. This is imagine it a warehouse on the assembly plant. And the assembly plant is calling off the parts on an hourly basis, on a just-in-time basis into that plant. So what goes in on a Kanban basis? What goes in sequence? What goes in kitted? What goes in loose? All that information is required by us to design an efficient solution. And don't forget, you've also got about 200 China suppliers that are new to this company that are also delivering direct into the car plant. Or do they come through the consolidation centre? And when you get the consolidation centre, how do you configure the layout? You've got three areas of service: engine plant, trim, and final. How do you do that? And then, by the way, you've got to bring those boxes back again. Where do they go? So just imagine the complexity in designing that supply chain. Now this particular project, we won some of that business, and the car plant went live about 3 months ago. Fantastic project and great fun working on that with some really intelligent people from the supply chain side, the customer and our team. But just think of that data. Without that data, you've got a pretty poor supply chain. So that's step one. We need data, good data, to design a supply chain. Then, we've designed it, I need data to improve it. We have to keep improving our supply chains. So we want data now to say, okay, I can take extra lead time out. Why don't do I air freight some stuff? Do I send product via rail now? There's a great rail link from Western Europe into China. It takes 3 weeks off the lead time. So how much products should go through that? What's the financial benefit of that? These are some examples of projects we've worked on. This is to show you what data can drive. This is a customer, I think they had 7 or 9 warehouses scattered across Europe. Came to us, worked on a project, really good data, reduced it down to one central DC, with a CO2 saving of 18%. And CO2 is really important to our industry in terms of minimising it. And also a 10% cost saving through quality of data. Another example. This is Australia. We talk about collaboration, and it's a really good point Rob made. I encourage my customers to collaborate. I'm not too keen to collaborate with my DHLs and my other people. So that's something the industry needs to mature on. I sell it, but I don't buy it. So this is what we did in Australia. Again, CO2 top of the agenda for a lot of our customers, reducing CO2. This is basically taking 2 fleets and making them one. Did the same thing in the UK for an 3 automotive customers. Went from dedicated networks to shared user, and we took about 50 vehicles off the road from a fleet of about 200. Absolutely amazing. Financial savings and CO2 savings. But you need data. This is a great one. This is part of supply chain. I think we talked about packaging before. This is for a client that was shipping product from Asia into America on containers. The container itself was pretty full. So open the back doors of the container, it was nice and full. The challenge was the boxes in the container weren't full. So as part of it, continuous improvement, the data, you actually re-engineer the supply chain, You put in new boxes for the product. You load the container. Slightly better utilisation, but you're getting more items per cube in the trailer. Saving this client over $1 million a year in logistics, $300,000 a year in packaging. Yeah, massive. And to do that, you need data. Yeah? So data to us is critical, absolutely critical. And the CO2 benefit, 21% less movements, hurts our revenue. From our point of view, that's 20% less revenue. Yeah, but it's the right thing to do for the customer and for us. And if we're clever, we put in a gain share mechanism, and we get a benefit on cost downs. Yeah. So, big data, managing resources efficiently. So let's take a standard daily operation, your warehouses and your trucks. So us resources are people, assets. Assets being transport, warehouses, etc. So how do we manage those resources efficiently? Utilisation of them, vehicles, yeah, productivity, people, cost effectiveness. Yeah, that was part of our solution for that operation board. So we're all striving for this, absolutely. This is just some examples of using data. So people and fuel are a massive, massive percentage of our costs. So we have to manage those extremely well to make sure we're getting value for money. Yeah? Those are some of the things we do: process design, technical systems, dashboards, multi-skilling people, so you can move them from one activity to the other. All those things that perhaps you don't see, that's part of our bread and butter, that's the day job. Yeah? We're expected to do that. Yeah? Measuring performance. Once you measure it, corrective action. So this is pretty standard now. You know, within a warehouse design, especially one now which is quite interesting, it's more common now to challenge automation versus people. Yeah? Automation is getting more reliable, the cost is coming down, the cost of people is going up. You get into a break-even point, particularly in this country where automation is becoming quite attractive, quite competitive. Design layout, so laying out a warehouse, strategic planning. Yeah? You need the data to understand what's the fast movers, yeah? What's the queue, where do I put it? We have one facility that has over 100,000 SKUs. You know, 50% come from one corner of the warehouse and the mezzanine floor. 50%. Imagine if that mezzanine was in the bottom of the warehouse, how unproductive that would be. So we need that data to put it in the right place to get productivity, and you check it every week, because something will change, yeah? And we move product out, move product in. These are the dashboards, yeah, in terms of how the shift's doing and how the individual doing. We measure productivity by individual, you know? Gone are the days a forklift truck will take a pallet to a location, go back to the receiving bay, take another pallet to a location. You go to the location, you scan it, the computer says, while you're there, go 2 aisles down, pick up a pallet, take it to dispatch. Yeah? So you're round tripping forklift trucks. You know, that's all, you know, for us, the bread and butter, the common sense. On vehicles, some really exciting stuff going on vehicle technology and data. Yeah? So of course you have your daily planning. It's quite common that you plan your vehicles at 6 o'clock at night for delivery the following day. Order cut-offs at 5 o'clock, 5:30. That's relatively common, depending on the marketplace you're in. GPS and live tracking, visibility boards. So a lot of our customer call centres have a visibility board of their deliveries that day, colour-coded, so they know if the vehicle's going to be late. They can ring up their customers and practically tell them, sorry, it's going to be half an hour late. You know, so they can manage that communication to the customers. It's fantastic information, absolutely fantastic. And they'll have that in their screens. So when we've done this, the calls into call centres has plummeted because they're managing that in a much more proactive manner. Yeah? Customer engagement, geofencing, great technology. You're half an hour, 15 minutes away from a customer delivery point. As the vehicle breaks that geofence, an automatic text message is sent to the receiving bay saying, I'm there in 15 minutes. Yeah? Again, making sure your vehicles turn around quickly, etc. And if customers want to, they can click on one of those logos, one of those vehicles, and find out exactly where that vehicle is. Yeah? If they want to. I missed one there, I think. Did I put one on? No, maybe I'll come on to that in terms of telematics. Yeah? And I know we're talking about big data, but all data is valuable. You know, we run continuous improvement workshops in all our operations, yeah, to drive out waste. And for that, you need data. It's not your huge data like the one I had for that supply chain to China. It could be a small thing, yeah, gloves for people, knives to cut packaging, all those little things that save money and take waste out of the supply chain. Sustainability is really, really important. We talked about that. The figure of 3% of CO2 has come from the supply chain. Very conscious that we have a lot of vehicles on the road. We don't own our ships or our planes, but there's a lot of logistics movements. So we take this seriously in terms of minimising our impact on society. So reduction in fossil fuels. We actually measure all the CO2 generated across all our operations in the UK. Things on a monthly or weekly basis. And we put in plans of how to reduce it. So in that particular year, we took out nearly 6,000 tonnes of carbon, through initiatives. We can only do that by measuring it, having the data, putting corrective action plans. There's a before and there's an after in terms of the CO2 footprint. This is the one I was looking for. This is telematics. Have you come across telematics in cab technology? Absolutely amazing. Half of our fleet now, about 1,500 vehicles, have onboard telematics that are measuring the performance of the driver all the time. At the end of the shift, we can give them a printout. We do give them a printout to say, by the way, today you're an A driver. And an A driver is just best of the best. There's about 15 or 17 metrics along those lines there. Now it'll measure, has the vehicle been a harsh braking? Have they accelerated too quickly? How many minutes were they in the green on the rev counter? How many minutes were they in red? Was the engine idling? All those things are measured and given to that driver at the end of the shift. And when a driver gets into A category, they are so motivated, so proud to be an A driver. And you recognise that for little trucks and awards and have driver of the year competitions, etc., etc. No one wants to be down here. One driver at F, I think that was a couple of weeks ago, he's probably not there now. He's either knee or he's, whatever. But all this technology is there, and it's being used. So consequence of all that environmental, last year we're very proud of this. We were actually the CILT 3PL award winner in the UK. So demonstrates we actually deliver what we're saying now. So finally, and I know I'll whiz through that, but I'm happy to take questions afterwards. So for us, what's big data? The starting point is the quality of the data to design the solution, and that's critical. Without that, the solution will not work. It will not be effective. It'll be too expensive. Once you design it, you use the data to continuously improve it, to bring in innovation and take waste out. And then the final one there is you're using it to improve supply chains and take out waste and environmental impact. And making sure, you manage your resources as efficiently and effectively as you can. Okay, that's it. Okay. A quick whiz through the views of data from an operator.